Do not send that text. Wait, read it again. No, slower. What if they take it wrong? What if they screenshot it? What if this is the message that shifts everything? You were just saying, hey, now you are planning for collapse. That was not you. That was me. I run disaster previews, and I run them fast. Part 1, I built the trailer. You think I panic? I do not panic. I prepare. You are about to speak in a meeting. You think about your sentence. I think about the room going silent. I think about someone checking their phone. I think about that meaning boredom. Then doubt. Then lost credibility. I build the full trailer before you stand up. Because deep inside you, there is still an old rule. If they reject you, you are alone. If you are alone, you are unsafe. So I never stop at awkward. I escalate to survival. You call it dramatic. I call it thorough. But there is something I have never told you. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Why do almost all of my worst case scenarios involve the same emotion at the end? Not failure, not pain, abandonment. Why is that always the final scene? Part 2, I am not predicting the future. When your boss says we need to talk, you think feedback, I think termination, then bills, then loss, then collapse. But I am not predicting tomorrow. I am replaying yesterday. Every time you felt left out, every time someone pulled away, every time you were blindsided by a shift in tone. I archived those. I labeled them high threat. I promised you I would never let you be surprised like that again. So now I show you the ending before the story begins. If you expect abandonment, abandonment cannot shock you. If you expect loss, loss cannot crush you. That is the deal I made with myself. But here is what I miscalculated. When I show you disaster, your body reacts now. Your chest tightens now, your stomach drops now. Nothing has happened. Yet your nervous system believes it has. Because I do not speak in logic, I speak in images. And images feel real. Part 3. You think you want calm. You say you want peace. You say you want quiet. But when nothing is wrong, you scan. The email was shorter than usual. The reply took longer than normal. The laugh sounded slightly forced. You replay it. You zoom in. You search for cracks. Because calm feels temporary, like something that will be taken. You have experienced shifts before. People change tone. People drift. Situations flip without warning. So when everything feels stable, I get suspicious. I start looking for signs, tiny ones, micro expressions. One-word differences, half-second pauses. I treat them as signals because I would rather overreact early than underreact late. So I turn uncertainty into narrative. I take one neutral detail, and I build a full story around it. They are distant. They are annoyed. They are losing interest. They are preparing to leave. And at the end of every version, you are alone. That is the pattern, not humiliation, not embarrassment, isolation. Because isolation once meant danger. And I still operate like that rule applies. You think I am negative. I think I am preventing a repeat. But in doing that, I create tension where there was none. And that tension makes you shrink. You speak less, risk less, reveal less. You try to stay safe, and safety feels small. But here is the twist you do not expect. The more you try to stay safe, the more convinced I become that danger is everywhere. Part 4. The loop. Every time you avoid, you feel relief, temporary relief, and I register that relief as proof. Proof that the threat was real, proof that my warning worked. You did not send the message, nothing bad happened. So I conclude I saved you. You did not speak up, no one criticized you. So I conclude I protected you. But I never measure what you lost. The opportunity, the growth, the connection. I only measure absence of pain. So I reinforce the pattern. You shrink a little more, I expand the scenarios a little further. Small risk becomes large threat. Large threat becomes guaranteed collapse. And eventually your world feels fragile when most of it is stable. And here's what breaks the illusion. There is one type of outcome I almost never show you, because it weakens my authority. Part 5. The outcome I ignore. I almost never show you neutral outcomes. The meeting goes fine. No applause, no disaster, just normal. The text gets a normal reply, not overexcited, not cold, just steady. You express an opinion. No one attacks you. No one worships you. The room continues. These outcomes feel small, but they are powerful because they build tolerance. Tolerance for uncertainty. Tolerance for minor discomfort. Tolerance for being seen. And every time one of those neutral outcomes happens, you survive. Your nervous system adapts. Your confidence expands by a fraction. I do not highlight those fractions. I am biased toward intensity. Intensity grabs attention. Drama feels urgent. Urgency feels important. But urgency is not accuracy. And speed is my biggest trick. I move fast. A thought appears instantly. It feels like truth. It feels sharp, certain. But certainty is often just repetition. I am pulling from old memories, old fears, old moments where you felt small. I compress them, project them forward, and label them prediction. You mistake familiarity for foresight. It is just pattern recycling, and the more you believe it, the more dominant it becomes. But something unexpected happens when you move anyway, and this is where my control weakens. Part 6. When you act anyway. Sometimes you ignore me. You feel the tightness, you see the scenario, and you send the text anyway, you speak anyway, you apply anyway. I brace for impact, I prepare for the fallout. And then nothing catastrophic happens. The reply is normal. The meeting ends fine. The rejection, if it comes, is manageable. And in that moment, something inside me glitches. Because my projection did not match reality. You did not collapse. You did not get abandoned. You did not disappear. You survived. And when you repeat that, again and again, I start to hesitate. My disasters become less dramatic because I now have new data. Data that says risk does not equal ruin. I do not like admitting that, but it is true. You retrain me through evidence, not through arguments. When you argue with me, I escalate. When you prove me wrong through action, I recalibrate. That is the mechanism. And here is the final confession. Part 7. What I am afraid of. I am not afraid of you failing. I am afraid of you being blindsided. I am afraid of that moment when something shifts and you feel powerless. Because I remember those moments, even the small ones, the friendship that faded, the tone that changed, the opportunity that slipped. I stored the feeling of surprise, not just the event. And I built my system around preventing that feeling, so I overcorrect. I assume worst case early. So you are never shocked. But shock is not fatal. Discomfort is not fatal. Embarrassment is not fatal. And most endings are not abandonment. They are adjustment. I am learning that slowly. Through you. Through repetition. Through survival. I will probably still whisper worst case. That is habit. But now you know the pattern. Now you see the ending I always assume. And once you see it, it loses some power because the ghost is named. And named fears shrink. If your brain runs worst-case trailers on repeat, subscribe. Twice a week we retrain the voice that thinks disaster equals protection.